172 took place over the weekend, and it had some insane and shocking results. One of those being Masaaki Noiri knocking out Tawanchai in the third round to win the interim featherweight kickboxing world championship. This was really quite surprising because I think a lot of people were favouring Tawanchai to win, as had mixed success in one, losing to Sidachai, losing to another fighter, and then being sort of an average kickboxer to earn his title shot. But as the fight went on, Tawanchai was doing well, but the gap slowly closed and Masaaki was able to knock Tawanchai out. So, let's take a look at how he did it. He did this with leg kicks, persistence and pressure, and superior boxing. So, let's start with leg kicks. Leg kicks. Masaaki used a lot of leg kicks in this fight. It's one of his favourite weapons. It's how he won his last fight, breaking his opponent's leg with him. Now, he doesn't do a traditional kickboxing or even Thai-style low kick. He does something that a lot of Japanese fighters do, which they'll essentially go for the low calf kick. But Masaaki was essentially punting the shin, going shin to shin, similar to Blachowicz versus Ankalaev, just battering Tawanchai's legs. And obviously, it can hurt you, but Masaaki's game is to pressure you and make you hurt. So he puts aside any of the pain from going shin to shin, and he just boots Tawanchai's leg. He'd often do this as a counter. So Tawanchai would either teep or he'd throw a kick, and Masaaki would immediately respond with a calf kick, right? Tawanchai would go for his own kick. Masaaki would counter with the calf kick, right? Just constantly punishing Tawanchai for doing anything just with the calf kick. And the calf kick, stylistically, it benefits Masaaki quite a lot. He's very, very heavy pressure fighter. He likes boxing. He likes just throwing hard strikes. And someone's response to that would either to be move their head, not so safe in kickboxing due to head kicks and knees, or get on your bike and move, which is what Tawanchai was doing a lot earlier in the fight. But the leg damage made him a bit slower and allowed Masaaki to close that gap and land his punches more effectively as the fight went on. Persistence and pressure. Masaaki's game widely revolves around putting pressure on his opponents to eventually let go with his hands and his devastating kicks. And against Tawanchai, the strategy was no different. Masaaki's stance is quite wide, almost spreading his lats out, creating like a brick wall of a frame for himself, and that allows to take up more lateral space, right, making it more difficult to move side to side. Masaaki would often just get teeped, move forward, get teeped, move forward. Tawanchai would circle out, he'd follow Tawanchai side to side, and lateral movement is very, very big, not just in Muay Thai and kickboxing, but in MMA as well, because a lot of people will like to just move forward and back. Forward and back, it's much easier. So to move laterally effectively, especially when your style is to cut off the cage or the ring, it's really quite impressive. And again, persistence. Tawanchai was landing quite a lot of teeps early in the fight, and Masaaki was very good at just kind of parrying them away with his lead hand and moving forward and getting teeped and moving forward. And again, slowly as the fight goes on, the leg kicks land, the body kicks land, and that gap between them slowly closes. And I think a lot of what helped Masaaki in this fight was actually his teep or his snap kick. We saw Takeru use this in his fight against Tanzin. It's just a flick, it's a stab. And that not only helps push your opponent back, especially when you're trying to pressure, but it also does damage to the body and bring the hands down, which eventually paid off quite a lot for Masaaki. Superior boxing. It's no secret that Masaaki won this fight with his hands. And while at the beginning of the fight he wasn't able to use them as much, towards the end and middle of the second round, and especially in the third, his hands became a much more prominent factor in the fight. He had quite a lot of success landing long right straights, not much setup, just kind of being quick with it and obviously closing the distance a lot better on Tawanchai, tiring him out and preventing him from teeping him away. So he had a lot of success landing the right straight. When getting in close, he'd have a lot of success landing the left hand to the body. It's one of his favorite punches. It helps bring the hands down. It's very, very important. and he just checked Tawanchai on his defensive boxing skills. Tawanchai has really good hands offensively, but when put under pressure, his defensive skills are a bit spotty in terms of boxing. Here we see Tawanchai go for an inside leg kick, and Masaaki just blasts him with a right hand that briefly stumbles him a little bit. And throughout the fight, Masaaki was slowly neutralizing Tawanchai's teep. So Tawanchai's thinking, I need another way to get him away from me. And the knee was there. So Tawanchai starts throwing a lot of step-up knees, and Masaaki takes the read of this. All right? Tawanchai goes for a knee against the fence. Masaaki times a really good left hook. This gets Tawanchai's attention, and it's actually what rocks him originally. Tawanchai starts backpedaling. Masaaki follows. Right hand goes to the body. Brings the hands down. Very, very important, right? This is very important, especially with step-up knees, because with the step-up knee, you're bringing yourself up, and you're putting your chin in the air. So if your hands are down, it's a lot more likely that you're going to get cracked. Tawanchai goes for the knee again. Left hook over the top, catches Tawanchai on the chin. Tawanchai crumbles. And credit to Tawanchai, he gets up for the count, but a barrage of punches means that Masaaki Noiri is the new interim featherweight kickboxing world champion. This was an incredibly impressive performance from Masaaki in a fight where he struggled at first to get his range off against a very powerful, very technical striker in Tawanchai, but he still managed. He slowly picked apart Tawanchai, chipping it away at his body, at his legs, parrying the teep, neutralizing his offense, keeping a high guard, just barreling through all the punches, and eventually just landing excellent shots. And now, obviously, the next option for him would be Superbon. And to be honest, I like his chances. I love the way that Masaaki neutralized Tawanchai's teep just by, again, just following through or parrying away, just keeping constant pressure and then countering afterwards as well with the leg kick. I think we saw Superbon constantly teep Marat Grigorian in their first fight in one championship, and I think Masaaki has the tools to combat that, especially with his lateral movement. I think he'll be a lot better at cutting off the rings or cage in that aspect. And obviously the power and the ability to just have heat in your hands is always going to be something that gives Superbon some trouble. So I do think Masaaki Noiri will beat Superbon. However, I'm extremely excited to see that fight. As for what's next for Tawanchai, I think if Nico Carrillo gets past Sittachai on April 5th, I think that lines him up perfectly to fight Tawanchai, and I do think Tawanchai will win that one, but it'll be a very hyped matchup nonetheless. It was a great fight. I recommend you guys go and watch it. They posted the full live stream up on YouTube because of issues with the pay-per-view, so you guys can go look at that. I will be doing a video on Nabil Anain soon. I just have to put out some MMA content as well, just to mix it up a bit, but that should be out for you guys shortly. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. See you guys later.